Your dad called. He said this movie was his Barbie, but secretly he does listen to I'm Just Ken in the shower.
Who the fuck are you?
Me? I'm nobody.
What if John Wick and Jason Statham had a baby together who was played by Homer Simpson? That's the question this film asks. And if also Christopher Lloyd was just there, just because seeing him at 80 years old wielding a shotgun is just amazing. Nobody stars Bob Odenkirk. Everybody's favourite deadpan comedian is a simple family man. Who is he? He's nobody, except that appears to be the name of some super secret agency. The comedy of him outright admitting, oh, who are you? I'm nobody. I'm with nobody. But nobody understands the joke. That is in itself made for your dad, because it's the ultimate dad joke. It's just incredible. Everything about this is just made. It's so dad-core. You know what I mean? Like, it is literally if one of these, like, Jason Statham films where he's, like, doing the same thing 100 times in a row was actually starring your dad as opposed to Jason Statham. Anyway, a home invasion happens which he shrugs off, and that awakens a long dormant part of himself, which means that he has to, like, go and try to just murder a bunch of people over a kitty cat bracelet, and then he accidentally pisses off the entire Russian mob, as people are wont to do in these situations. And this film, there are a few things I forgot about this. Obviously, Bob Odenkirk is incredible in his role, and honestly, nobody else almost has enough screen time to put in that strong a performance. Christopher Lloyd's really funny in the short screen time he has. His family are fine, but really in the background the entire time. The main villain is quite fun. He's more fun than, certainly, than some of these actual films that this is parodying. Like, damn. And I think the thing that really threw me the first time a little bit, and this time a bit, not that it makes me appreciate it less, but the thing that I find weird about it is the change of tone is bizarre. I mean, look at the three major action sequences, okay? The first one is on the bus, where he actually struggles to fight these guys, and that was amazing. Honestly, for me, and I think for most people, that was the best sequence in the film. And honestly, one of the better action sequences of the year at the time. Then the second one is in his house, and a bunch of Russian bad guys come for him, and he hides his wife and kids in the basement, and then reveals that he's built all this crazy stuff into his house without his wife knowing. I mean, she knows what he did previously, so why not? It doesn't. Yeah. Anyway, and then he fights off this bunch of guys with like guns and stuff, and you're like, okay, that's a slight change from struggling to beat up 5 guys in a bus, but that's fine. And then the finale. Is him, his dad, who's 80 years old, and his mate taking on every soldier the Russian mob can throw at them, like 100 guys probably, while just standing back to back to back in the middle of a factory firing guns. And I mean, what does that sequence do for anybody besides inspiring a month's worth of wet dreams for your dad? Like, no, none of that is something that every Jason Statham film wouldn't do, except for the fact that, of course, he wouldn't share credit. A 3-man army? No thanks, Jason says. Get rid of 2 of those. And yeah, it is a short film. It's a surprisingly short film. I looked at the runtime of the sequel, and I was looking at cinema times, and I was like, oh, that's very short. And then I realized this one was about the same length. It goes quick, and I like that about it. It's not messing around. It doesn't feel the need to do some like grand investigative thing there, because it is just here to make fun of these films. And yet it is a very good version of one of these films. And that is one of my favorite, I guess, subgenres of film. It's a very specific thing. But films that make fun of a genre or of a style of film while simultaneously being a really good version of one of those films themselves. Oh, cinema. The full admittance that this is a character who was desperate for something like this to happen so he could go action mode again, I love it. Because all of them are like that. They're always going, like, Jason Statham's always like, I'm just here for my dog, or I'm just here for a friend who needs my help, blah, blah, blah. You love it, just admit it already. And Bob Odenkirk's character really does just be like, yeah. I'm so hyped. Like, he's really here for it. Also, the soundtrack. If one of these Jason Statham films just one time said, let's spend like $1 million, wouldn't even be that much, less on explosions this time, and let's put that money into getting like a banging soundtrack for this thing, it would make such a big difference. I mean, it is so much harder to hit on how ridiculous these action sequences are when they've got like they open and close with separate banging songs. There's so many, they just pop up. And it's such a tight runtime that you're like, wow, they had like so many songs in there, and yet Can't complain. It was awesome. This film doesn't necessarily feel like it needs a sequel. I'm saying that before seeing the sequel, we'll see. But it is incredibly rewatchable. I find a very unusual thing is watching a film for a second time, well, probably a third time now, and liking it exactly as much as I did for the first watch. Like, rewatching it after seeing it in the cinema, and maybe having seen it once since, I feel exactly the same about it. I don't feel like it's actually better or worse than I was making it out to be. It's very rewatchable, it's very fun, and although I can't quite call it a masterpiece because of the tonal shifts and the nutsy finale and everything, it is just a film that I could sit down and put on any time, which you've got to love. So I'm giving everyone who's met a group of guys like that on the bus before 4 stars. Your dad called, he said this movie made him feel like if Peter Jackson had put Tom Bombadil in Lord of the Rings. Your dad called, he said this movie was Citizen Kane if there had been more DIY murders. Your dad called, he said this movie was his Black Panther.